This artist just signed a $3 million record deal and a publishing deal separately from the record deal, and her producer got nothing, not a dime. You want to know why that is? Because the producer doesn't even exist. We are living in strange times. So, an AI generated music artist recently signed a rumored $3 million record deal. It's being reported as $3 million. All the images are AI. I mean, they look like AI. You can see there, these just look like the AI images that everybody on Facebook and Instagram is posting left and right of themselves. But the music is 100% AI. The person behind this particular artist writes the lyrics, plugs them into an AI platform, presses a button, a song comes out. And I'm gonna go deeper. I'm gonna make a separate video analyzing these songs, because I say some things in this video that are probably pretty unpopular and contentious. We need to have honest conversations about this, because if people are actually now starting to like AI generated music, we've reached a weird point in human history. Granted, producers were upset at Timbaland for a bunch of different reasons, but Timbaland created an AI music label and signed an AI artist to that label, right? This was a while ago. He got a ton of publicity. Everyone was talking about it. When it dropped, it completely missed the mark. It was a flop. I don't even think he ended up putting the music out. Maybe he still has a plan, but it doesn't feel like anybody was checking for his AI artist. So why is this particular AI artist blowing up and generating millions of dollars? The other question is, check this out. So this is unconfirmed so far, but I'm going to show you a screenshot that I got from a colleague of mine who actually knows the woman behind Zanaya Monet, asserting that she just signed a deal, a publishing deal with Artist Publishing Group, aka APG. Now, as you can see here, some of the biggest producers on the planet are signed to APG. Alex the Kid, who did all those huge Eminem hits, including Love the Way You Lie with Rihanna. Stargate. There was a period where every hit song was produced by them. Taz Taylor's on it. These are just some of them. There are way more. That being said, any producer would love to get signed to APG, to be on a roster with producers of such a high caliber, to get all the creative services, to get in the room with all the artists that APG has relationships with, to get a bunch of placements, to ascend to the top of the music business. And then here's this AI avatar getting signed to the label who doesn't have a producer, because the producer doesn't exist. The music is generated by pushing a button. And this is actually the first time I've seen this happen. We know people use AI all the time, but as far as I know, no rapper, no R&B singer has ever gone viral off of 100% AI generated beats, because let's be honest, they don't sound that good. And this is what I mean about me being controversial, and maybe this is an unpopular opinion, but I don't think this production sounds good. And somehow it's getting millions of streams. This will not be the last video I make about this, but this is Aaron and I discussing some of the major problems with this new artist being signed. I don't even know what to call them. What do you think? Leave a comment. Do you think this is going to be the new normal? Do you think there will be more AI generated artists reaching this level of success, or is this just kind of a one-time thing that is all novelty and eventually it's just going to wear off? What do you think? Zanaya Monet, you're familiar?
Yeah, the AI thing that got a bunch of money recently.
Yeah. So two things. You know, it's a real person behind it. She is a poet. She's from the South. I don't know if she went to college for writing. I don't know what she got her degree in, but maybe. And shout out to JP. He knows her personally, and so I was seeing stuff like this. He shared me this screenshot. In addition to, you know, everyone's reporting $3 million off of AI songs to AI beats. $3 million. And the human behind the AI just signed a publishing deal with APG, which is, you know, that's Artist Publishing Group. That's big. The other thing is she has created a virtual, what are we calling this? An avatar for herself. And so this is Talisha Jones. She's the woman behind the lyrics and the curation of the artist Zanaya Monet. This all happened very quickly, because this is July 8th that she's posting how she created, what she's calling it is a social media influencer. She created a social media influencer. And it seems like just a couple months later, there came this announcement that she signed for $3 million, and I have 1,000,001 questions about this because there's a lot I don't understand. I think someone else posed the question: why would anyone sign an AI curator when all that, like AI is based on stealing what's already there and then synthesizing it to something new? Why wouldn't a company just save their $3 million and steal from the person that's doing what they want to do themselves and are willing to pay for it? If everyone's stealing, why? You know what I mean? But then the other thing
It's an
too is,
interesting case.
why wouldn't you just, like a group like an artist publishing group, or the group that gave her the advance to sign the artist? Why wouldn't you just take the talented songwriters on your existing roster and say, all right, we're going to give you $100,000 instead of giving this other person $3 million. We're going to give you $100,000 to develop an artist that's actually human, that's on the roster as well, and we're going to give each of you $100,000 to do this within a year because you're already talented. You can make that happen. So we just spent 10% of what we were going to spend on real people, and we're going to get better results. There's so much I don't understand about this. I have more questions. What's your initial reaction to this?
So I think it's such an interesting case because this is the second, third, fourth, fifth time where it's like, oh, AI artist. And then you find out that it's actually a person behind it. So to me, it's like, there's a couple things that I think. For one, I think it showcases the value of a curator. Because if it was just about the AI, again, Suno is a public platform, whatever, and this is signed to a major label. So it's like they could just input certain things and then be like, boom, why would we need to pay anybody? Because again, signing an AI artist sounds insane because how do you sign an AI artist? Who is getting this payment, right? So that's why you're like, oh, it's got to go to a human being or a brand manager or, so I think that, obviously it's got to go to a human who's a brand manager, songwriter, whatever. So with this person creating a AI social media influencer, I think it's interesting because it shows like, okay, they're actually paying the curator. But two, it's very odd to me because it's almost like, I hate this. It's almost like a way to be like, hey, songwriters, if you're ugly or we're not into your aesthetic or we don't like the way that you come across on socials, we can just create an AI image and then just throw your music into, a synthesizer that gives us the most optimal version of your songs versus what you are bringing to the table. You know what I'm saying? Instead of
Well,
bringing in
that's
other
put a pin
co-writers
in
and
that,
stuff,
Aaron,
let's just throw it in to the AI. Yeah.
because that's why I showed Talisha's post where she said, look, I just created my influencer, and that influencer has a very specific look. Someone even commented, shit, make me some abs. And I'm like, so already you're creating this unrealistic beauty standard, which is one of those things that we've been talking about ad nauseum. I mean, since I was a child, and this predated my life, talking about unrealistic beauty standards. Nowadays, you don't have to get a real human model to starve herself and put on a bunch of makeup. You just create it with AI. And unfortunately, this is a woman behind this whole image, and I guarantee you she doesn't look like her avatar. And how does she reconcile that? That's, it gets deep. I looked at Howwood Media, and it says back in 2020, J.R. Rodham was on Howwood Media. Soundwave, Kendrick Lamar's engineer and producer, is on there. David Stewart's on there. There are a lot of, they say they handle the catalog sales for Jeff Basker. There are all kinds of talented humans on that label that could have done this. at a higher level. And, no disrespect to Talisha, because very clearly the lyrics are resonating with people. And I love that you said that, Aaron, because curation is important for AI, human curation. And I want to end by tying this all up. But the lyrics are good because it's a poet behind the music. Obviously,
Wait, you think the lyrics are good? I haven't listened to any of it. I don't want to partake in it. But I thought
yeah.
when it first came out, people were saying it was like stupidity.
No, everyone that even people who might have a problem with it understand why. Like, I understand why it resonates with people because it's a real woman's experience.
Got you.
And so it's raw and emotional. But the music sounds like AI. The visual branding looks like AI. It's all like stock. I don't think Talisha's the same as Timbaland in the regard that Timbaland's been using and refining his process with Suno for years, and he has all the insider information, and someone's helping him out. And obviously because he has
Stealing
an
so much
actual
more music. Yeah.
he has an actual position, and he's in the Suno world. He has a Suno name tag, so he really understands how to optimize it. But the vocals sound like existing artists, but they have that kind of fuzzy insectile quality that AI voices have, where it kind of sounds like you got phlegm in your throat. And it doesn't matter what you do, you can't get rid of that fuzziness. Does that mean that the singer is just using the stock settings? They might even be using a free account, because I feel like when you start paying for the newer versions, you can get rid of that fuzziness. Because Timbaland's AI artist, doesn't have that fuzzy quality. There are a lot of, Suno power users that whose output doesn't sound like that. But it makes me wonder, because I listened to, sorry, Aaron, I listened to like 6 of the songs last night.
No, it's fine. I mean, it's. I'm not judging. I'm just saying. I just
research.
don't want to add to the noise. I don't want to add to the streams or any of that.
I didn't. Well, I listened specifically on YouTube and not Spotify. But it sounds like, because on Suno, what you can do is, if you create a track that you like, you can just keep remixing it and inputting new lyrics and slightly altering it. And I feel like it feels like that's what she's doing. She might not be. But when I listened to everything, the beats were formulaic. The beat was, it's always piano, ballad, intro, very straightforward, straight drums. And then in the hook, the snare sound switches and there's more reverb on it and it's heavier so that it builds up. There's a crescendo and then it drops back down. The dynamic drops back down, but it's always piano, 4-chord turnaround, straight drums, build up on the hook. Because Suno has limits. You can't just type in a prompt like, hey, make the bridge more dynamic and add that's not how Suno works, at least not right now. And what's crazy to me, right, is, so back to Timbaland, right? His artist, Tata, right, has 2,000 Instagram followers. Her music is sonically better because Timbaland is a better Suno prompter. And, obviously, Timbaland is a more experienced producer, songwriter, whatever. The vocals sound realistic. They don't sound fuzzy. She doesn't sound like an insect. Zanaya Monet's songs sound like stock Suno outputs. And yet, her music is generating millions of dollars and getting all this attention and getting all these streams. And I think it's because Tata's lyrics are absolutely vapid, whereas Zanaya's are emotional and relatable and human. So, it's weird to me.
It could all be marketing too. I'm not trying to just cut it off, but it's like, if Suno has it's one thing if Timbaland has an artist who he signed and it's da 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 da, and people are already like, F you, Timbaland. It's a whole nother thing to have a random person create an AI artist and then quickly get signed and then quickly sign. Now Suno has a case to be like, you Suno, you don't even have to be, because remember, that's what the owner or the founder of Suno was like. anybody can make music. And everybody was like, wait, but we thought the purpose was to enhance music makers already. So for me, it almost seems like it perfectly times out. It's a part of probably their marketing rollout, to where it's like, okay, Timbaland, okay, cool. When he struck out, well, let's use this random person who never had a
Mm.
career in music. They create an AI artist, and in months they're signed for millions of dollars. Now they've got a publishing deal for millions of dollars. Do you know what I'm
Oh,
saying? Like, I'm not, and I'm not even trying to be like a conspiracy theorist. I don't think it's a conspiracy, but it's like, it just
it's
seems like
plausible.
pretty apropos for it to happen this way. Cause by the time Timbaland's artist rolled out, everybody hated him. Like, Timbaland spent an entire lifetime building a career where people appreciated and loved him. And within literally 2 years, everybody's like, damn, you betrayed all of us, stole our music from the pandemic, and now you own part of Suno and you're just plugging in all of our shit. And instead of signing these artists that you have been listening to for the last 3 years, you decided to sign an AI, and however that works, and it's trash. Do you know what I'm saying? So I feel like this is like, you comparing it as almost like opposites seems very
Totally
appropriate.
opposite.
It's like they're playing both sides of the same coin. You know what I'm saying?
They are, but it's just I understand that Timberland, because I'm a detractor when it comes to the AI stuff. So I was and I will continue to be critical of any producer, whether it's Timberland, Will I Am, whoever. But it's just so weird to me that Timberland had so much publicity because of this AI stuff. Everyone was talking about it. Everybody. And for him to drop this artist, song preview, and for it to get fewer views than what we normally get on our reels on Instagram, that's weird. I fully expected people, even people who wanted to hate watch the content, or people like me who were curious just to hear it. You mean to tell me there weren't more than 5,000 of us? And then all of a sudden, this random woman from Mississippi, or I think that's where she's from. Apologies if I got that wrong. Just starts using Suno, and it's kind of like a cute little story where it's like, here's this young woman that had no idea how AI worked. She can't make beats herself. She can write good poems, but she can't sing. And here she is, just using all of these little free AI tools, and now she's a multimillionaire. It's a great story. And I was wondering the whole time, I'm like, is this real? Is this, so maybe it's not, or maybe it's manufactured. I just don't understand, because like, we don't know what she did to make these
It could
songs.
be real for her too. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
right.
she may not even know. Do you know what I'm saying? And it could be, who knows? I don't know. I don't want to, it just to me seems a little bit like, I work in marketing and not like marketing. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Respectfully.
Oh, yeah. Well, like
Like,
when we
you know what I'm
had
saying?
that guy on with the whole trippy, that producer that there was that whole Trippy Red / MGK controversy surrounding. Brilliant marketing. I know Dame hated it, but
And then even the fact that he couldn't even fully say everything when
right.
he was getting interviewed by us, he was kind of like ambiguous about some stuff. I'm like, yeah. And to me, again, like, that's just a lightweight level of what you're saying. Like, that was just some social media shit. Do you not think
Mm.
a multi-billion-dollar AI company who's backed by a ton of investors, who's trying out a lot of reckless shit and on the verge of getting sued, doesn't have several $1,000,000 to put into marketing?
So do you think some of it's organic? I mean, because there are real people saying, I love this music. This song made me cry. And I'm just like, but are you really listening to the voice? Are you really listening to the production? And people are like, this is amazing. I'm like, no, it's not. And I'm not trying to take away. Look,
I
All I'm
mean,
saying
I could
is,
see people really enjoying it, but I also think it's like radio. If you put something in front of somebody for so long, they'll end up liking it because it's just stuck in their head. And then some people are just like, they're connected with different parts of it. Some people just want to be absurdist. But I even remember when like K-pop was massive, like when it was first blowing up in the States, like in the mid 2000s, right?
mm,
I did not get it. I still don't get a lot of the K-pop, Labubu, all this type of like fanfare about stuff. I do not understand the obsession that people, especially the human adults, have with it. Even, you know, like the K-pop trend, it's not so much now, I guess, like over here, but you know how they pitch up their voices just slightly, and it's like this whole thing. It's not quite chickmunk, but it's like it's just slightly higher, especially with women. I don't get it, and people love it, and it's a whole thing. I'm talking, you know, billions and billions and
oh yeah.
billions of dollars in streams. So I can't say sonically this is mediocre, why do you like it? I feel like that's the world of music and preference. And I also think that people love things that are different, and they can't tell why. They're just like, this shit is different, I'm obsessed with it. And it's like, are you really, or are you just obsessed with how unique it is?
Well, it's not unique, and I will say it's sonically mediocre, and I don't understand why people like it. But I do think it's because of the lyrics. And my thing with this is, all right, two companies that have an amazing roster of human musicians on it. I don't understand why you don't just look. So like you look at Talisha Nikki Jones and you say she's writing these lyrics and she's using Suno and it's resonating with people because of the lyrics. We have a roster of singer songwriters and artists and engineers and producers. All right, we'll sign her because her writing is great. She can't sing, so she can't reference anything, but somebody else can. You know, because if you can connect, the amazing thing, and I'm going to give her the credit that I think she's due as a songwriter or as just a writer in general, the ability to, again, with music that I think sounds mediocre, it sounds like anyone using Suno for the first time typing and make an R&B song, here are the lyrics, push the button. You didn't really do shit except write the lyrics. So if you're going to write the lyrics, they better be good. And evidently her lyrics are great because they've captured the hearts of so many people to the point where she has millions of fans. Cool. Why maintain the mediocre AI output? I guess because it's already working, so why change it? And maybe there's a conspiracy where Suno's giving them money, be like, yo, you know, Suno's got 3 million. We're gonna give it to this label. Why don't you just pretend like you're signing her to a label deal? That would be that's like book level conspiracy. Now I'm getting in deep
Is
into
it
the weeds.
though?
But
Because
no,
I feel like,
it could
because
happen.
you know, like the Hustle and Flow, like the first year of Hustle and Flow, if I'm not mistaken, you know, I don't want to. This is no shot because
Should I Google something?
I think D Smoke is incredible, but I'm not. If I'm not mistaken, Netflix paid part of his label deal, right? Like that was like the whole thing, or maybe I got it mixed up. Maybe the label, like it was like a deal with Netflix for like promo. So then they like, you know what I'm saying? They like exchanged money. I'm not saying that Hustle and Flow is funded by the major labels, but I know that it was like money changing hands to make that happen. Whereas with like American Idol or The Voice, they try to have like a claim to like the winner post win. So that's like why a lot of labels won't sign those people, because it's like their hands are in it. But like, if I'm not mistaken, Netflix ahead of time, it's like they had made. That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's a crazy conspiracy theory, because this is how business works. You just exchange within industries. You know, like even with Spotify, it's like the majors own part of Spotify because Spotify is a tech company, and then with you know what I'm saying? Like with Disney, like them owning, I don't even want to get into that. That's like, cause I'm not talking conspiracies. I'm literally talking about the way that money is exchanged, or like record labels having interest in movies and then being able to do like sync deals because they have like invested in the movie, or I don't know. I just feel like that's the way that business works, and people just maybe don't know it. So they're thinking like, oh, they're talking conspiracies, but I feel like that's just how it works. Like it would not surprise me at all if Suno was like, hey, big three, we want to sign this artist. We want an artist to be signed and make a major spectacle of it. Not only will we cash flow the signing, but we'll also cash flow the marketing, XYZ, da da da. You know, like this is like the definition of industry plant. I'm not saying this is what that is, but that's like industry plant, like how stuff works. And not that he is this, but this is like the Dominic Fike story. It's like homie was in jail, then he gets out of jail, signing a label deal within a week. And it's like the rags to riches story is something that people really love. And I'm not going to go into the details there, but it's like, that's just how they just like, oh, it may not have been her that they're like, hey, let's pretend that you're broke down. But they're like searching for outliers and anomalies that they can volley to make a story make sense. You know what I'm saying? And maybe she was involved at the ground level, but who knows? I'm not speculating there. I'm just saying it wouldn't surprise me in any realm or world, because we're
Yeah.
talking about dollars and cents, and in an economy that only focuses on dollars and cents. Why would they just let this random thing happen? I don't see it happening because it's not, in my opinion, in your opinion, good enough to happen. I haven't heard any of it, but none of it makes sense, you know?
Yeah, I mean, listen to or don't. I think listening
I'm not, but
reveals.
for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. For the people watching this, I'm curious. I don't think we'll ever get the real story. Uh, we could. I'd like to have her on here just to talk to her about some of these things, but I'm sure she can't even speak on all of
You
them.
gonna reach out?
And actually, someone did on my behalf, and she said she wasn't ready for interviews, which makes sense. She seems like she wants to just maintain privacy. That's why she created this avatar, and that's another can of worms, right? Just create an avatar that might be that might unintentionally cause harm to people. I don't know. Um, I guess in the grand scheme of things, everything's causing harm to people, especially women, especially Black women. But here we are. So it'll be interesting to see if this can be duplicated, because so far this is the first AI artist that has actually resonated with people. Everything else has gotten a backlash.